Hi, it's Ron, and today I'm going to be talking about the magic behind Wicked for Good. So I've now seen Wicked for Good 3 times, and I didn't want to see it the second and third time because I had such mixed emotions about seeing it the first time. And by the third time, I realized I love it. It's a very, very good movie. Here's the deal. I think as an action, adventure, romance, fantasy, it is an amazing, amazing film. I mean, it gives you everything you need. Tension and friendship and love and hurt and anger and betrayal and flying monkeys and flying elphibas and all that stuff. And just it brings everything really nicely together as far as the Tin Man and Scarecrow. And I love that. No spoiler alert. Sorry, never mind. You know that I love the very end too. Okay. So I think that A plus, A plus, A plus. I think as a musical it sucks. Don't send me hate mail. As a musical it sucks, and this is why. It's because the second act of Wicked should just be a play because the music sucks. I mean, all of the good ones, they shoot the wad like the first act for sure. I mean, there's just nothing. And I know that they added 2 new songs, and No Place Like Home, Boat Ring. I just hate it. The girl in the bubble is growing on me a little bit. But I think what just a wasted opportunity it was for No Place Like Home, because especially with the animals and all that stuff, they could have been just really, really, really amazing. And they blew it, I think. Ariana and Cynthia is just amazing. And I think that if you didn't cry when Cynthia says, I love you, and Ariana says, I love you too, and that was improvised by Cynthia, by the way. And then, when they're against the door, oh gosh, I mean, there was, all of a sudden it was like snot fest. In every theater that I was at, there was like, just people just messy crying. So, go into it knowing that, because I think that the first one was such a perfect musical, right? It was just a perfect musical. Everything, I just loved it. And second act is not, but they did what they could. They just shouldn't have had Michelle Yeoh sing at all, okay? Just have her do this, okay? But no singing. So what did you think about Wicked for Good? Did it sweep you off your feet, or did it burst your bubble? Let me know. All right, so let's talk box office. So last year, let me give you a comparison. Last year, Wicked Part 1 opened $114 million at the U.S. box office, $50 million in the international box office, so $164 million. Yeah, $164 million worldwide. Wicked for Good opened at $150 million in the U.S. and $76 million international for $226 million its opening weekend. $226 million. So let's talk about the performance of Wonderful in the movie. Because in the stage show, only the Wizard and Elphaba sing that together. And Ari and John Chu and Cynthia and Jeff Goldblum got together, and they just felt like there's no way that Elphaba would have said, yes, I'll come join you, and to just the Wizard, because right, and the animals. So they felt like it would be stronger if Glinda was part of that, right? And she was kind of a character arc too, in that she was like, look, maybe things won't be so bad if Elfie's here too. So she was really trying to get her there, and I just thought it worked out really, really beautifully. It was very believable, and I loved their interaction. Lots of happiness before everything went down the hell hill. But the practical things that happened in Wonderful, when Jeff Goldblum puts the sheet up and he basically makes Glinda disappear. Well, when they were doing that, right as he was covering her up, Ariana Grande dropped to the floor and crawled really fast out of the camera sight and then ran around to make her entrance at the door. So there was no like time delay or time lapse or any CGI shenanigans at all. So when the part where Jeff Goldblum gets up on that thing and then he is, jettisoned up into the stratosphere, that was an actual piece of equipment that they created, and he had to train for it and all that stuff. So everyone's doing their own stunts in Wicked for good. Speaking of own stunts, can we talk about Jonathan Bailey shirtless? I mean, I would even take the Scarecrow version of shirtless with him. I mean, hey. Let's talk special effects or not. And you might have heard the word practical or practical sets. And that's what they used a lot. So think about what Wizard of Oz looked like, where you could tell that they were actually walking on a yellow brick road. They were going into the houses in Munchkinland. They were going into the witch's castle because those were all built, actual buildings that were built. And, the past 20 years, it's just been all CGI. So normally that would be all CGI. So they would be acting in front of blue and green screens. But they couldn't do it in front of green screens. Why? Because Elphaba's green. That's right. So the production designer and John M. Chu, the director, decided they were going to do as much practical building of sets as possible. So when you see Shiz, when you see the moat that Galinda comes in a boat the first day of Shiz, that was all person made. So those were real things that you could touch and jump into and all that stuff. There were sets that were 4 football fields long. That's how big these sets were. So it had Emerald City, it had to be Munchkinland, Shiz, etc. Now, here's a little, only nerds would get this one, but in Wicked, the first one, when you saw the Emerald City and you saw the big wizard palace, there was 1 tower. In Wicked for Good, there are 3 towers that are built. Okay, and one's for Wizard, one's for Miss Morrible, and one's for Glinda. One's for Glinda. So when you see it again, check that out. Now, other practical things that they did that they didn't have to were skin. So Cynthia Erivo had the option of either doing all CGI, so she wouldn't have to get made up every day, or actually have the makeup applied. So she decided to have the makeup applied. So it took about 3 hours every day when she was, depending on how much skin it was showing, to do that. And then she wore green contacts as well. So same thing with Scarecrow. So Jonathan Bailey. So his kind of was very burlap-looking face and skin were all hand-applied prosthetics and makeup. Unbelievable, right? And as well as the Tin Man. So everything on the Tin Man was also practical with prosthetics, and it took about 5 hours a day for Ethan Slater to get into the Tin Man. The only thing that was CGI on the Tin Man were his joints. So you'll notice that he had just kind of like little ball bearings for his knees. So those were the only thing that was CGI. Everything else was practical. And he said that he could move one eyebrow and the eyebrows on the Tin Man would go up. He could move a cheek and the cheeks would go up. That's how amazing these things were. So, and I actually really liked Ethan in this because I don't normally like him that much. So other things that happened is, so remember in Popular when Glinda was, the dressers were opening and, things were happening and balls were popping out of things and all that stuff. None of that was CGI. It was actually stage crew hands, all like hiding and like popping the balls out and opening up the things with strings and being inside. So that was all happening right there and then. And they had to coordinate all that to make it all happen. And it looks just amazing. The train was an actual train, a working train that was 100 tons. And they painted it green for Wicked Part 1, and they painted it pink for Wicked for Good. So next week, Zootopia comes out, so that's going to be some competition for Wicked for Good. So that's it for me for Wicked for Good. Thanks for spending the last 10 minutes with me, and I hope you and your family and friends have a great, great holiday weekend. Take care.